Yo, what's up, everyone? Looking at the Tuesday slate, we have 7 games tonight. Looking forward to it, so let's get right into it. You can drop a like down below and subscribe. I appreciate that. You can follow on Twitter for updates. Yesterday, with the Knicks news coming out late, how to play Dennis Smith Jr. Hopefully, you guys were on him too because he was very cheap and he had a huge game, especially with the steals. But still, we missed out on Draftkings, but able to cash on FanDuel, even with Clark. So that was fortunate with the 347. So looking to get both in the money today. Let's get right into it. Starting off here at point guard, LeBron James is at 10-7. I feel like this is an Anthony Davis game if I had to pick one. Davis facing his former team. Davis has crushed the Pelicans both games this year. But I think both of those were definitely without Zion. It was when the Pelicans were awful, like defensively. They've been a little bit better. I think I kind of would pay for Davis and I would pay for James just personally. CJ's at 9,000. It's a tough matchup against Boston, but he absolutely went nuclear with 76 fantasy points last game out. Has the upside to do it again. They probably will put Marcus Smart on him. The Celtics are a good defense. I think he's fine. He's not you don't have to jam him in there just because there are some other options. And at 9,000, I don't think the Celtics will make life very easy for him. I'd say that Fox looks pretty good at 7,600. And then if you're going for some value, you have Graham, who's been awful shooting the last couple games, but 1 of 17. He's really fallen off, shooting just under 38%, 37% from 3. At least he can make his free throws, but he's really cooled off. I think it's still he's worth a tournament flyer, but nothing that you can really bank on. And then here's where I kind of like a couple plays. I like Satoransky at 5,700. I like Smart at 61. And then if Bruce Brown happens to be out, I think you could take a shot on Rose, although it is a scary matchup. I kind of like White. I think might get a little bit more ownership than Satoransky. He's been shooting lights out the last couple games, but that can easily just not. You can easily just have a poor shooting game or an average shooting game. It's a tough matchup. The Thunder have pretty good defense, especially with their guards. I think Satoransky I kind of would rather get to at lower ownership just because he is better at getting peripherals like assists. He's had 7 or more assists in 4 out of his last 5 games. He can maybe get you a double-double like he did last game. The minutes should be there. They are banged up. If Wendell Carter returns, that's not going to affect anybody in the guards. They're probably going to take out Adam McConka or whatever his name was that was playing some minutes as the 9th man. So it's still going to be big minutes for Satoransky. It's not an easy matchup, but at least they're at home in Chicago. And I think at 57, he still has that upside to get you at least 6x. At shooting guard here, CJ is the best spend up on the slate. At this position, not on the slate. At 9K, he's the best spend up at this position. But you also have some value with Jaylen Brown at 6,600. Looks good. Smart looks good at 61. Rozier at just 56. Could play Kobe White if you want. I think those 4 look pretty appealing. Kind of like Jaylen Brown right now. No Kemba again. His minutes are going to be high once again. She could get at least 34, 35 minutes tonight as long as this game is competitive. It's a great spot for the Celtics. And the Celtics are one of the few teams in the NBA that a lot of their production comes from, their starters. They get very little production from their bench. And so stacking the Celtics 3-4 starters, Brown, Tatum, Smart, or Hayward, most of the time without Kemba, they're going to get the job done. And Brown still at a good price point, mid 6K. Great matchup. I think he's a pretty solid option at shooting guard. At small forward, Tatum's been amazing lately. Lights out, 50 plus in 3 straight, 40s in the other games, some 60-point games. Tremendous matchup for him against he's probably matched up against Carmelo, although they could put Ariza on him just with the way Tatum's been playing. Either way, I think Tatum he's been playing big minutes. And he's just been looking amazing out there, playing with great confidence. Tough for me to not like him. And then I would say that Ingram looks pretty good at 6,800. You could play Hayward if you want to, but I kind of like Brown a little bit more. Hayward's been flirting with some triple doubles, so he gives you that upside. But at 74, he's considerably more expensive than Brown and Smart. I like T.J. Warren quite a bit at 6,200. Unfortunately, Jeremy Lamb's going to miss the rest of the year after his injury. It was amazing that he stayed in the game and hit those 2 free throws, if you guys weren't aware. But 62 for Warren looks good in a bounce back. They got absolutely destroyed by the Raptors in Toronto. Now they're back at home. It's a good matchup, a great matchup against Charlotte. They're awful defensively. And if Oladipo's out too, then they're going to need Warren scoring. And he should play good minutes tonight. I feel pretty good about that. He's going to get back on track in this type of matchup. A power forward, I like Davis looks good at 10-3. Giannis got fouled out very quickly. 6 fouls in just 25 minutes. It's a shame because that game also went into overtime. He also had 8 turnovers. So he's looking like a bounce-back candidate against Toronto. In Toronto, should be a close game. Siakam's just at 85. That looks pretty appealing. You have Ingram, looks good at his price point. Carmelo looks decent. And then if you want some value at this position, there's not a ton that sticks out right now. We'll see. Maybe you could take a shot on Cody Zeller just with how big the Pacers front court is. But I'd say that I still like Tatum quite a bit at 8,800. I feel like the Celtics are going to go off tonight. I like at least getting multiple Celtics. Just with whenever they're missing one of their big players, the other 4 just kind of share and split some of the production. And Tatum's just been on another level lately. Over at center, it's like Sabonis looks great at 9,000, especially if Oladipo misses. I like Steven Adams, 6,700. Ibaka looks good. If Chris is in, I like him at 6K. And then I'll see if Dragon Bender played at all. Not that I would play him, but it might cut into some minutes for Chris. So he played 20 minutes. Depending on the status of Green, too. So if they're all healthy, then I'll probably just fade them all just because it probably will split some time. But I think Ibaka looks good. 6,500. No Gasol again. Only played 24 minutes, but he was on the verge of having a big game. The game, they just won by 46, so he didn't have to play a lot. But he's played very well without Gasol ever since he's been starting. The game against Phoenix, he also was in heavy foul trouble. Yeah, like 5 fouls, so he only played 26. But without foul trouble, he's looking at 35 minutes in this game, just defending some of the bigs, Giannis and Lopez. If Brook Lopez misses again, he's questionable. I mean, they haven't released his status, but then Robin Lopez would be a pretty nice play. I would say he's only 3,200. He looks good. Played 33 minutes, 28 in regulation. And then finally here, at guard, I'd say that 50 going under 6K, 56 for Rozier looks pretty good just because he's cheap. I think he's going to have a decent game soon. They haven't been scoring a lot, but I just think that it's at a price point where Rozier once in a while is going to go off for like at least 6x at this price point. He was much more expensive for most of the year. They've really cooled down, but you're still getting solid minutes, even in blowouts for Rozier. Played 33 in a huge blowout. His upside can get you 36, 37 minutes. And it's not like a spot that I'm super comfortable with. Just with the information we have right now, I'm sure by the end of the day, if we get some more news, then he could be a spot where he jump off of. But right now, I think he looks pretty good at 5,600. Over on FanDuel here, point guard, I'm looking at like Fox and Lowry as pay-up options. I like Brogdon, 61, especially if Oladipo misses. You have Satoransky at 55. Bledsoe looking pretty good. Definitely a spot where you have some cheap options here. Even Rozier's just 5K. So you got quite a bit of options here. FanDuel priced everybody pretty closely in under the 6K range. So you got to pick your poison with who you're rocking with. I'd say that Lowry looks good at 7,600, but I also kind of like Satoransky. Not sure if I'm going to pay down both point guard spots or pay up for one, but I think I'll probably get one of those 5K point guards in there, that 5 to 60, 100 range with Brogdon, Bledsoe, Rozier, or Satoransky. I feel like I'll get at least one of them. At shooting guard, McCollum is 8,500. That's a pretty nice price tag on FanDuel for sure. You also have more value here. Devontae Graham is just 5,900. This is a spot where if you're trying to make some money in, like, I'm not talking about like just some penny change. I'm talking about like trying to get the top spots or like top 5, top 10 finishes in some of these tournaments. Then you got to take some shots on guys when their prices take big hits. Like Graham is down to 5,900. That is an absolute like steal. A month ago, he would be 100% owned. He's really struggled lately. You don't really know what you're going to expect, but he has flashed some upside. I mean, 3 games ago, he had a solid string of 40-plus fantasy points, and if he does a similar kind of performance at 5,900, you're going to be sitting pretty. Not sure he's going to get a lot of ownership. He might just with that price tag, but I think he looks good. You have Smart looks good at 5,300, and then Van Fleet at only 63 looks good as well. Not to mention Buddy Hield's also pretty appealing. So if you're not paying up for CJ, you got plenty of options to pay down in that 53 to 5,900 range. Small forward Giannis is the best spend up at the position, as always, at 11.6. You also have both of the Celtics at nice price points, 66 for Hayward, 62 for Brown. Probably will get at least one of them. And then you have TJ Warren at 5,900, looks great as well in this type of matchup. You also have like Barton and Gallo at cheap price points. So their FanDuel, the pricing has made it pretty easy to get as much to kind of like spread yourself out. If you just make one lineup like I do, you're going to have to do some research and kind of dig into who looks really, really good. I'd say like I'd probably get one of Hayward or Brown in there, kind of like maybe Hayward just with his price tag cheaper. A power forward here, Tatum looks great, 8,800. Sabonis looks amazing at 8,300. Ibaka looks fine. They're definitely the top 3 at the position. And then depending on the status of Carter, you could take a shot on Thaddeus Young, 6K. But in this type of spot against Charlotte, they should get destroyed by Sabonis here. I like him a lot at 8,300. And then at center, you have Adams looks pretty good at 6,500. He's been playing very well the last 4 games. Even before the All-Star break, heading into the break, his minutes were trending up, and then after the All-Star break, he's been seeing some good run, and he's been productive. It's a tremendous spot against Chicago. They are very bad at defending centers. Adams should be able to eat on the glass. It should be an easy double-double spot for him, and he's been racking up some blocks and steals. There's a spot where he can do that once again, so I definitely like Adams here. If we get word that like Chris is in or Lopez is out, then he could punt at the position with like Robin Lopez, who's only 3,500. So that's definitely another spot you could go with because he should see some good minutes in this type of matchup. So if you want to go cheap, you could do that. But right now, with some of the news we have, this is kind of what I'm looking at. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.